This is Pierre Delacote, working at Planet Technologies. Uh, I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to talk about a few tips around communication. How do you do a good communication? Often, when dealing with change management project, deploying a new technology, the IT department is handling the communication. And quite frankly, the IT department is not used to communicate. It's not their job, it's not their skills. So they're doing what they know to do. So they send an email with a description of what's going to happen, what is required, what the end user should do. So it's really verbose and not really engaging. And often people don't really understand why they're receiving this email. There's so many things in the email, they're confused, they're not sure, they're a little bit stressed because they see that a lot of things to be done. They don't have all the context and so on. And it's not the IT fault. It's not the end user fault. It's just that when you're dealing with a change, a technology change, you need to put some communication skills into the game. And so I'm going to give you some tips if you're part of IT, so that might help you. I guess if you're in the communication, if you have skills around communication, that won't be news for you. So the first thing is what we call what's in it for me. So when you're communicating to end users, you need to make them understand what are the benefits for them? What is in for me? Meaning, what is it that worth my attention? Um, so think about what will be the benefit of deploying the technology so you can write an email describing maybe a few benefits. Don't be too verbose, just describe a few benefits that you think that the end user will be glad to have. Um, so that the first thing, let them know what are the benefits. Then, depending when you're sending the email, usually I'd like to have an email campaign in 3 or 4 phases. The first one is to give the purpose of the change. So I recommend that an exec sponsor will send this email rather than uh, a central communication email or a central IT email. Make it personal, so it should be sent by the exact sponsor, explaining what is the purpose of this change. I don't know, we're deploying a new technology, and the goal is not just to modernize your environment, it's to bring something that will help people or will help the organization goals. So first communication should be sent by an exec sponsor and should explain the purpose of this change. The second should be about the benefits and should try to get people excited about the change. Um, and in the second, you should also add some timeline so people can understand when the change will occur. And so you try to find messages that gonna, in a way, excite your end users because you will bring them so much value that they're not expecting the change. Um, so you need to try to talk a little bit before that with the end users to identify where the change will change their life. So you have to do a little bit of assessment here before identifying the benefits. So second mail, it's about the excitement. You're building the excitement. And then, so generally 2 or 3 weeks before the change. And then when the change is coming, people are not excited anymore. They're not really uh, considering the benefits. They're considering the disruption. So you need to reassure them. So you need to explain that everything has been designed to help everybody within the organization with materials, uh, help desk, uh, training, whatever you put in place. Just reassure the end users that they will be, or maybe you can already provide them with some content, but there will be help for them to find their bearing the day they start. And then there's a final email saying welcome because the deployment has been done. And then the you just have to here you just have to list the 4 or 5 maximum important things to know to find their bearings and get back on track with their day-to-day work so they're not lost. Um, so 4 different messages sent first by the exec sponsor and then by maybe the team, or depending on your culture, it can be the manager of your team, or it can be the project team. So you have to adjust to your culture. So excitement, then you reassure, and then you welcome. Um, so how do you build those emails? Um, what should be the design, the format of the email? So I think it's important to make it short. Don't write a story, a long story, or a long list of what to do or not to do. Make it sharp, make it visual, so add some icons near to the actions you're describing, so people can really understand right away looking at the visual and they understand what the purpose of the text is. It has a signification. The image the image adds a signification to the text. So yeah, be short, be visual, and be action oriented, so people can understand what is the purpose and if they have to do something, what do they have to do. Don't make a list of what happened in terms of exception. If they have a problem, what they should do, put that in a FAQ and point the FAQ at the end of the email. Point all the resources that are gonna help them at the end of the email. Usually, we're tempted to add a maximum of information in the email because we don't want people to ask us if there's a problem. And so we don't want this stress as being in the team of the project who deploys the technology. So it's more when we're often verbose in our email, often to protect ourselves as a team, as a project team. And in fact, you don't have to do that. you need to think about who's a customer, and the customer is not you. The customer is your employee, the employees you are deploying. So you need to focus on them and help them and not help you. So you bring the maximum value. First, the benefits. Second, where they find the resource that will help them. You reassure them. You say you're there. There's resources, online resources that will help them. There will be help desk, and then um, the day you deploy, they might have problems. A few people might have problems. So you just need to be ready to answer those questions. Either you do that through a help desk, or maybe you can also through a forum, which can be in different tools. You can, like a FAQ, you can start to have concrete answers to the main questions. And also you can reassure the people if that, for example, if you have a champions team, that they can rely on the champions team. So that's a good leverage. So to come back to the communication tricks, make it really professional, short, sharp, with visual, with important words bolded, so people can read faster what's important, and eventually a link to more information if people want to, if people who are stressed by a deployment want to have more information, then they'll go into your resource center. But you don't stress all of them by including all the information in the email, in the communication email. So that was a few tips about how to communicate on a change management project for a digital deployment. If you have other tips, other best practice, just add a comment in this post. Thanks.